कल्पवृक्षाय मंगलं ज्ञानदायिने सदाशिवाय श्रीनित्यानन्देश्वराय मंगलम् श्रीविद्याम्बायै मंगलं कामदायिन्यै सर्वमंगलदात्री नित्यानन्देश्वर्यै मंगलम् मंगलं गुरुदेवाय मोक्षमूलाय मंगलम् परावतार नित्यानन्दाय गुरवे मंगलम् ध्यानमूलं गुरोर्मूर्तिः पूजामूलं गुरोः पदम् मन्त्रमूलं गुरोर्वाक्यम् मोक्षमूलं गुरोः कृपाः। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। हरिः ओम तत्सत्। सर्वं भगवत् श्री नित्यानंद परमशिव पादुकार्पणमस्तु। ओम नित्यानंदम्।
கதிரினுதயம் தேசுமிகு மாணிக்க திரியேறு கமலம் அச்செங்கமலம் அஞ்சு பவளம் மந்தாரம் மழை நாளில் வரும் இந்திர கோபம் அவண்டூரு மலையின் அரவம் மான்மதம் செங்குருதி போல் மலரும் மாதுளம் மாதுளம் சிதறும் முத்தம் செந்தீயின் வண்ணமெனவே சொல்லும் மேனியும் செப்பரிய அழகு வடிவும் சிங்காதனத்திலும் சிவனார் மனத்திலும் சீர்கொண்டு இளங்கும் எனினும் ஏண்டாய் நின் பேர் சொல்லும் ஏழையே அறிவிலும் என்றென்றும் திகழ அருள்வாய் இறைவியனை ஆண்டருளும் நித்திய நித்தேஸ்வரி நித்திய புரி வாழும் உமையே நோக்கும் திசை தோறும் நூபுறத்தாள்களும் நூல் போல் ஒசிந்த இடையும் நொடி தோறும் புதிதான எழில் கொள்ளும் நுவலறிய திருமேனியும் வார்குங்குமக்கச்சு மார்பும் அம்மார்பினில் வாட வைரமோடு நவமணி பயங்கும் மங்கள நானும் மனம் வீசும் இனிய பொலிவும் காக்கும் கரங்களும் அங்குச பாசம் கரும்புவில் மலர்கள் ஐந்தும் கனிவாயில் மூரலும் கருணை பொழிவிழிகளும் கனகமணி ஒளிரும் முடியும் ஈர்க்கும் சுடர் முகமும் இருவிழி கழிப்பயாம் எங்கெங்கும் காண அருள்வாய் இறைவியனை ஆண்டருளும் நித்திய நித்தேஸ்வரி நித்திய புரி வாழும் உமையே இறைவியனை ஆண்டருளும் நித்திய நித்தேஸ்வரி நித்திய புரி வாழும் உமையே சீரார் பெருந்துறையில் சிவயோக நாயகி சிவகாமி தில்லை மன்றில் தென்குமரி பகவதி திருவானைக்காவினில் திகழும் அகிலாண்டேஸ்வரி காரார் மதிர் கச்சி காமாட்சி அங்கையர் கண்ணி செந்தமிழ் மதுரையில் ஆரார் சிவன் தோலும் தமிழும் விளைபவள் சமயபுரம் அதனில் மாறி தட்டாமல் கடவுரில் பட்டரு கருள் செய்த தையலபிராமவல்லி ஏறார் மழை கண்ணி என்னறிய நின் கோலம் யாவும் எமை ஆள வல்லவோ இறைவியனை ஆண்டருளும் நித்திய நித்தேஸ்வரி நித்திய புரி வாழும் உமையே நித்திய புரி வாழும் உமையே பனி தங்கு நிலவு போல் பால் போல் பளிங்கு போல் பட்டொளி நிறைந்த வடிவம் படிகமணி மாலையும் ஏடும் தரித்து யாழ் பயின்றருளும் நான்கு கரமும் புனிதங்கள் யாவும் பொறுத்த வெண் தாமரை பூமேல் விலங்கு பாதமும் பொழுதெல்லாம் என்னும் என் பழுதெல்லாம் போக்கினர் புலமை தர வேண்டும் அம்மா கனி தந்து மலர் தந்து கவி தந்து தொழுவோத்து கண் தந்து காக்கும் அரசே கலைஞான மகள் என்ற நிலையான புகழ் கொண்ட கருணை மயமான பொருளே இனி தங்கு தடையின்றி யான் பாட நீ கேட்க இதயம் கனிந்தருள்வாய் இறைவியனை ஆண்டருளும் நித்திய நித்தேஸ்வரி நித்திய புரி வாழும் உமையே இறைவியனை ஆண்டருளும் நித்திய நித்தேஸ்வரி நித்திய புரி வாழும் உமையே மாதவன் ஸ்ரீதரன் மதுசூதனன் துளசி மாலை மார்பன் கேசவன் வைகுந்தன் அச்சுதன் மலை மேலும் வாழ்கின்ற மறைநாயகன் தாதவிதழ் மலர் கூந்தல் ஜானகி மணவாளன் ஜனர்தனன் தேவதேவன் சாரங்கன் நாரணன் தாமோதரன் கோதை தலைவன் ஆழ்வார்கள் நேசன் மேதினி அனந்தகிரி விக்ரமன் திருமகள் விளைகின்ற பதுமநாபன் வேறு வேறான பெயர் நூறு நூறாய் விரியும் மேகவண்ணன் தங்கையே ஈதன வரைந்து யாம் ஓதுதற்கரியனின் இசை பாட மொழி ஏது கான் இறைவியனை ஆண்டருளும் நித்திய நித்தேஸ்வரி நித்திய புரி வாழும் உமையே இறைவியனை ஆண்டருளும் நித்திய நித்தேஸ்வரி நித்திய புரி வாழும் உமையே கபாலினி மனோன்மணி நந்தினி வன்னி மண்டல வாசினி மானவதி யோகினி மனாதீத நாயகி வாகினி மனமோகினி சூலினி சுவாசினி ஹாசினி சுமங்கலி சுந்தரி துணைவி திரிபுர சுந்தரி ஜோதி ஸ்வரூபிணி சுதாமினி ஹம்சினி சும்பதி சுரமர்தினி சாலினி சனாதினி தருணி கல்யாணி சிவசங்கரி சாருகேசி சாம்பவி கலாவதி தருமவர்தினி ஜனனி சாமுண்டி தேவதேவி காத்யாயினி பேசரிய அபிராமி பிரம்மாணி காயத்ரி பிரிசூடி மொய்யம் பெருமாட்டி மீனாட்சியின கேசரிய அபிராமி பிரம்மாணி காயத்ரி பிரிசூடி மொய்யம் பெருமாட்டி மீனாட்சி இணையடிகள் போற்றி போற்றி இறைவியனை ஆண்டொரு நித்தேஸ்வரி நித்திய புரி வாழும் உமையே குற்றத்தமிழ் கொம்பன் குற்றம் மறைக்கணியாமல் காத்து நின்றாய் வெற்றி தமிழ் காண மேகமே நவீனையும் மேத
himself as he is going to be gracing each and every one of us for the live Nithyananda Satsang. I'd like to invite all of the viewers to come and please see and share the latest news from on the ongoing events and the agreement and the recognition of and the agreement and the recognition of the United Nations of the persecution against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Now, just in Uttamottama Mahapaksha Guru Puja that was conducted by the Nithyanandeshwara Paramashiva Devalayam, but prior to that, we had just had seen and imbibed for ourselves some of the the UN, who has recognized the persecution against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. And we were being guided through by Ma Nithyachalananda Swami and Ma Nithya Pranapriyananda about the freedom struggle of Kailasa, the sovereign nation, Hindu nation, Hindu civilizational nation that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is reviving. And we were also being able to see the latest development where the UN has recognized the persecution against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Now I request if the entity operator one can project the link where the UN has officially recognized Kailasa for its ongoing work to eliminate femicide in India, and femicide specifically against Hindus. We'll just be projecting that link. I encourage each and every one to go to the link, see for yourself about this this latest development, an extremely exciting news where the UN has recognized the persecution of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and Kailasa. And among the persecuted communities and the leading advocate for eliminating crimes against women, has recognized Kailasa, and the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has listed Kailasa as one of the persecuted communities, as one of the marginalized communities who has literally been victim at the hands of the anti-Hindu militant terrorist forces. So in just a few minutes, we'll be projecting that link. I request all of the viewers to go to the link and share this link in all of the social media platforms. Let us spread the word and let us do our small part in ensuring that this Hindu Holocaust, the genocide of Hindus for thousands of years, comes to an end, finally, by being recognized in the international platforms, in the international audience. Through this report that the UN has published on its webpage for the UN Special Rapporteur for against the acts of femicide in various different populations, UN has recognized how the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is the foremost leader to eliminate crimes against women, especially Hindu women. Yes, as you can see here, we have the link projected of where the UN Special Rapporteur for acts of femicide is listing Kailash Union and Kailasa as one among the persecuted communities, and who has seen and recognized the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism for his work of bringing an end to the crimes against the Hindu women in India and the Hindu women all over the world. And in so many different ways, as you can see here, under a list of the persecuted communities, Kailasa is listed there, officially recognizing what the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has undergone, the persecution he has undergone. Now, over the last more than 2 decades, continuously, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has been an advocate for the equal and infinite rights of all genders, and without discrimination, any kind of discrimination against any caste or background, religious background, any race or gender or sexual orientation. Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has been leading and initiating each individual Hindu into and empowering each Hindu into living a empowered Hindu lifestyle. But the anti-Hindu militant forces were directly against this, because this was against their agenda to continue oppressing and subjugating the masses, subjugating the Hindus whom they were directly looting and profiting off of. Yet, over the last 2 decades, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has worked continuously so hard in order to ensure that the victims of crime and the victims of gender-based violence have a voice. And that is why today the UN has officially recognized and seen and given a voice for all of the victims of violence, victims of gender-based violence against Hindu women and against the women of Kailasa. And in so many different ways, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has worked in order to report these crimes done against the women in an international audience, has done so many different things in order to bring the research and studies of undertaken by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism to analyze exactly how the victims of femicide and gender-based violence are being treated. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has brought so many concrete measures which he has taken personally and brought Kailasa and revived Kailasa to take up the mission of improving the support to victims and any targets and vulnerable populations of femicide. And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has also ensured to report the good practices and the challenges of everything when it comes to femicide in against Hindu women. And also, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism continues as well to report to the international audience and to continuously advocate for the thousands and millions of Hindu women who are continuously being subjugated, oppressed, and undergoing gender-based violence around the world, if just only if they are Hindu. As you can see here, this is the official report that the United Nations has published, and where it specifies the crimes and violence that has been attacked against the women of Kailasa. And though this report only names just a few of the women of Kailasa who have been through so much of violence, still there are millions who have not had their voice heard yet. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism continues to work to eliminate the crimes done against women and allow justice to be served in some way. Now, by empowering the female orders of the sovereign order of Kailasa, whether it is the Rudras and Rudyakanyas, the Sannyasinis, the Brahmacharinis, the Krama Brahmacharinis, or the Bhairavis, the Yoginis, everyone, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has been actively helping the targeted individuals who are targeted for femicide and gender-based violence. And these specific lineages of endangered lineages of ancient of Hindu women are actually targeted for just simply for their Hindu lifestyle. And not only that, over the last 2 decades, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has continuously been empowering victims and the targeted populations who are vulnerable to femicide and to gender-based killings and more different types of violence. And not only that, concrete measures have been taken by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism in order to support and to heal the victims of violence and ultimately to prevent femicide. And we can say that among so many different leading organizations and so many different people, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is the foremost advocate and foremost leader working to eliminate the crimes done against women. And we've seen, for example, in so many of the ancient sovereign Hindu nations, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has revived just because it is Hinduism that he is reviving. So many attacks have been launched against the women of these Adinams and Sarvagnapitas and these ancient sovereign nations, these ancient kingdoms. And whether it is in Pavlakundru, in the ancient city of Tiruvannamalai, or in Chennai, in Trishulam, or whether it is in the ancient Hindu kingdoms of the Tanjavur, Tiruvarur, and all of these places, these primordial adinams, which were established by Paramashiva himself, that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is reviving. In every single way, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has been working to empower the women in each and every one of these by providing a Hindu ecosystem where they can be empowered to live their most infinite possibility. And we can see some of the most devastating attacks, whether it is in Pavlakundru or Trishulam or in the media against so many women, directed attacks in order to sexualize and subjugate women and absolutely dehumanize women. and Hindu women specifically, and even the sannyasis, the Rudrakanyas, and all of the yoginis, everyone. To attack them is ultimately an attack against the entire Hindu ecosystem, and ultimately to use them as and weaponize women against the destruction of the entire civilization. Now we can even see some of the extremely brutal and mortifying footage of the attacks that went on in Trishulam and Pavlakundru and so many other places. The various evidence that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has literally worked so hard in order to voice out, to bring the international attention and ensure that the victims of violence, of gender-based violence, the victims of so many millions, the voices of so many millions of women is heard, at least in some way, in the international audience, where they have undergone so much and yet still not having a platform to voice out and to share and to heal from what they have gone through. Now, if we see the attacks against the Adinams specifically that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has revived, there are several female-only monasteries that were entirely attacked simply because they were ecosystems which were meant to empower Hindu women and which were meant to enrich the Hindu women to live their most infinite possibility. And across every single Adinam that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism revived, continuously relentless persecution has been launched against them. If we see the attack in Pavlakundru, for example, over a series of just a few months, the entire Adinam was absolutely destroyed and the women sexually assaulted and the deities absolutely abused. The women were then illegally arrested, not even for any crime, but simply because they were there standing to protect the deities and protect the ecosystem. Yet they were absolutely physically assaulted, sexually assaulted, and some of them brutally raped. As you can see here, this is the mortifying footage of the sannyasis of Sovereign Order of Kailasa and the Hindu women who stand guard to protect the Hindu deities and to protect their entire ecosystem, who are just saving and standing with their lives to protect the Hindu ecosystem. Yet they are dragged, physically assaulted, sexually assaulted, and even some of them brutally raped. We can see here the destruction of the entire monastery of Pavlakundru in 2017. And these brave Hindu women, these brave sannyasis who took up the lifestyle as a sannyasi and took up this life in order to serve the whole world, serve the community, serve the whole world with the sacred sentiments of Sanatana Hindu Dharma, were absolutely dehumanized, raped, and violated to the most extreme. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism over the last 2 decades has been the foremost leader to work to eliminate the crimes against women and Hindu women specifically by ensuring that the Hindu women and their stories, their incidences of victimization, and their experiences are brought out to the international audience. And today, we have seen how the UN has officially recognized what these women have gone through. And whether it is even the attacks against the Trishulam Adinam in 2017 in August, where literally women were stoned, cars overturned, where the women were brutally raped in front of the public. And there was so much done to destroy the entire Adinam. And a raid of 300 anti-Hindu militants had trespassed and destroyed the entire Trishulam Adinam, which was a female-run monastery that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was reviving in order to empower Hindu women. In that circumstance, we saw the brutal rape of our sister sannyasis. We saw the literal stoning of Hindu sannyasis, the destruction of property, and the most brutal violence that people have ever seen in this day and age. Cars being overturned and made sure that there was no way to escape. And literally each and every one of us being made to hold on, protect ourselves, hide ourselves for days inside of, without any current, without any form of protection. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has literally ensured that the crimes done against us, the women of Kailasa, whether it is the sannyasis or the Rudrakanyas or the yoginis, in every single instance, to make sure that our voices and our hardships, our experience of extreme suffering does not go unnoticed and made invisible to the whole world. At least in this sense, at least after so many places being denied justice because of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, because of his immense hard work to bring and revive Kailasa and to protect each and every one of us. Today, the UN has finally recognized the persecution done against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and the women of Kailasa. And in so many different ways, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has actually provided concrete measures to help prevent femicide and the gender-based killings and gender-based violence. And yet, despite having done all this, attacks continue against the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism and against specifically the women of Kailasa. And we have seen how the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has provided physical protection through these ecosystems and ensuring that these ecosystems are shelters for any of the victims and the targets of the vulnerable population and the indigenous Hindu women, and also by as well providing and aiding each and every one of the victims with proven methods of healing from trauma and pain, and even by empowering women, Hindu indigenous women, with leadership roles, as well as improving and providing the empowerment for women to be successful in their traditional business and art. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has done everything. in order to ensure, in order to help empower women and eliminate the crimes done against women. Here you are seeing some of the attacks that happened against the women of Kailasa after a sannyasi was brutally raped and needed to be rushed to the hospital immediately. And in this women only Adinam, so much of attack was done. And we're seeing the brutal amount of destruction to the whole property. Yes, and it is due to the ultimate grace, blessings, and the immense amount of hard work that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has literally protected each and every one of us and made himself available continuously to uplift and empower humanity with this super conscious breakthrough. And every single day, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is gracing each and every one of us with the Nithyananda Satsang, which we can now get ready for in just a few minutes. Let us now get ready for the live darshan of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Please sit with your head, neck, and spine in a straight line. And let us chant the Mahavakya. And get ready for the darshan of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Chant the Mahavakya. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Continue chanting the Mahavakya and let us get ready for the darshan of the incarnation of Paramashiva.
Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda 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 Paramashivoham. Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda 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 Paramashivoham.
Connecting with the divine with your eyes closed is meditation. Connecting with the divine with your eyes open is darshan. Come, let us all now move from meditation to darshan. Slowly, very slowly, please open your eyes.
கையிலையில் தரும் நித்யனின் தரிசனம் தன்னை தானறியவே இவை அசைவிடும் தீட்சை தரும் தரிசனம் மறைபொருளாயிருந்து திரை விலகி திருவடி தரிசனம் வீரை சூடிய சடை நாதனின் திருவுரு தரிசனமே மறைப்பொருளாயிருந்து திரை விலகி திருவடி போகும் தரிசனம் வீரை சூடிய சடை நாதனின் திருவுரு தரிசனமே அவள் வேண்டி வேண்டி திரளான கூட்டமுமை தேடி வரும் அல்லவா மறை நான்கின் பொருளுணர்ந்த நாமும் கண்டருள கையிலை உதித்ததல்லவா பொருளெல்லாம் தேடி உலகெல்லாம் போடி உமையனுள் உணர்ந்தேனல்லவா பொருளெல்லாம் தேடி உலகெல்லாம் போடி உமையனுள் உணர்ந்தேனல்லவா உலகை காத்தருளவே கையிலையில் தரும் என் தரிசனம் கண்ணை தான் அறியவே இவை அசைவில் தீட்சை தரும் தரிசனம் பகலுமே உந்திரு கண்ணில் அசையுதே நாங்கள் என்ன கோள்கள் என்ன உம்மை பற்றிட இரண்டு புவனங்களும் உம்மை சுற்றிட பொருளும் அருளும் தர மனதின் இருள் விலக பரமசிவ தரிசனம் மாயை வென்று விட ஞானம் பெற்று விட மோட்சம் தரும் தரிசனம் பல சித்த புருஷர்களின் ஞானி யோகிகளின் தவமெனின் தரிசனம் அடியும் முடியையும் ஒன்றாய் காண்பதற்கு கையிலையில் தரிசனம் சதுர்வேத கோஷமுடன் நாத கீதங்களின் ஒளியில் தரிசனம் கையிலையில் தரும் தரிசனம் கண்ணை தான் அறியவே இவை அசைவின் தீட்சை தரும் தரிசனம் உலகை காத்தருளவே கையிலையில் தரும் தரிசனம் கண்ணை தான் அறியவே இவை அசைவின் தீட்சை தரும் தரிசனம்
आदियन्दमे नमः शिवाय वेदरूपणे नमः शिवाय पूदाकरणे नमः शिवाय पुण्यमूर्ति नमः शिवाय नीलकण्ठने नमः शिवाय दीयं नानुमे नमः शिवाय दीयं नीरुमे नमः शिवाय तीदुं नन्रुमे नमः शिवाय आदियन्दमे नमः शिवाय वेदरूपणे नमः शिवाय पूदाकरणे नमः शिवाय पुण्यमूर्ति नमः शिवाय सम्मणल पूळूदी सम्पुणल केसम सेन्दनल काற்று தினம் வீசும் மண்ணில் சந்தன குங்கும மங்கள ஒளியினில் அம்பல தாண்டவன் அலங்காரம்
who imparts enlightenment, jnana or medha shakti. Through the playing of the Rudraveena, he awakens the non-mechanical parts of the brain and opens the highest possibilities of oneness with Paramashiva. Swamiji's very own guru in Advaita Sampradaya is none other than Annamalai Swamigal, who served Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi personally, developing a deep devotional obedience towards Ramana Maharshi. Annamalai Swamigal imbibed the best of his teachings and therefore was able to live beyond his master in the physical plane and his representative with the same intense radiating energy. Swamiji often participated in Annamalai Swamigal's discourses, interacted with him personally, and even just went to sit and imbibe his divine presence. Annamalai Swamigal's main guidance in Swamiji's life is what is depicted in the Utsav Vigraha Alankaram here in the Kailasa's Nithyananda Paramashiva Devalaya. The deity of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Swamiji, is seen doing the experiment that onto himself when Annamalai Swamigal declared that the soul or the Atma is beyond pain. Swamiji wanted to sincerely test this truth. Hence, he took a knife and cut his thigh to see whether he'll have pain. He had pain, and when he went back to Annamalai Swamigal praised him and said, "Your courage to experiment with the truth is what you need. Just find the source from where the pain is coming. Internalizing this truth and practicing this method, seated on the foothills of Arunachala, Swamiji experienced the superconscious breakthrough and had the 360-degree experience." Swamiji's powerful cognitions in the Advaita Sampradaya and contributions begin with the Shuddha Advaita Saivam. Swamiji has given to the world the ultimate science of Shuddha Advaita Saivam, which technically means the purest form of Advaita, according to which even before we realize that we are Paramashiva, even when we struggle with this realization, we are Paramashiva, and whatever we are manifesting in life, consciously or unconsciously, what we want or do not want, we only are able to manifest because we are the source, Paramashiva himself. Swamiji initiates all into the Nirvikalpa Samadhi, the unclutching, and has given numerous lectures on various Advaitic texts, including the Ashtavakra Gita. Today, we offer our puja and respects to the deity of Paramashiva gracing as Jnanadakshinamurti, to our Paramaguru Annamalai Swamigal, and to the Utsa Vigraha of Swamiji gracing in the Leela Alankaram. Let us now offer our worship and puja.
ॐ सहस्रदलपङ्कजे वराभयकराम्बुजं विमलगन्धपुष्पाम्बरं प्रसन्नवदनेक्षणं सकलदेवतारूपिणं परेच्छिरसि हंसकं तदभिधानपूर्वं गुरुम् सर्वमिदं विभाति कल्पलहारं सदा वसन्तं हृदयारविन्दे ममं भवानी सहितं नमामि। श्री सर्वदेवदेवी स्वरूपाय भगवते श्री नित्या सर्वापराधक्षमापणार्थे आनन्दकर्पूरनीराजनं सन्दर्शयामि रक्षां धारयामि। मङ्गलं श्रीविद्याम्बायै मङ्गलं कामदायिन्ये सर्वमङ्गलदात्रे। नित्यानन्दाय गुरवे मङ्गलम्। ध्यानमूलं गुरोर्मूर्तिः पूजामूलं गुरो।
With our Sakshavat Dandavat Pranams, we offer Nithyanandam.
ஐயா சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர. உள்ளொன்று புறம் ஒன்று பேசறிய சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர. ஐயா ஊனறிய உயிர் உடல் அறிய மோன பெருவழியை நான் அறிய ஆணறிய பெண்ணலி அறிய ஆதி சிதம்பரம் நான் அறிய சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர. சாமி உண்மைது பொருளது கண்டறிய போகமும் மோகமும் கொண்டறிய ஆசை பேராசை அறிந்தறிய அம்பலமாடியை மறந்தறிய சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர. சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர. ஐயா சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர. ஆகம வேதங்கள் படித்தறிய ஆறு குளங்களில் குடித்தறிய யாகமும் யோகமும் செய்தறிய கோமுகம் பார்த்து பணிந்தறிய சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர சிவ 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 ரகர ரகர. சும்மா ஒருவோ சுட்டறிய சுத்த அசுத்தங்கள் பார்த்தறிய ஆத்ம நிவேதன செய்தறிய அர்த்தநாரீசன் அடி சிறிய சிவ 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 அரகர அரகர சிவ 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 அரகர அரகர சிவ 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 அரகர அரகர சிவ 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 அரகர சாமி ஏடறிய சொல் எழுத்தறிய ஏற்றமும் தாழ்வும் நான் அறிய வீடறிய குடுங்காடறிய சோமசுந்தரனும் மறந்தறிய சிவ 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 அரகர அரகர 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 நேசா 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 உண்ணாமுலை நேசா